Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a brand new episode of LEGO Jurassic World Custom Dinos. And today, as you can see, we've got the lovely Mr. Dennis Nedry in his awesome shirt, in his awesome, almost like a Hawaiian or I guess kind of just like a weird exotic vacation shirt, ready to help us out in customizing some dinosaurs. Now, of course, keep in mind, if you guys enjoyed today's episode of Custom Dinos and you want to see more, don't forget to leave a like. That is always highly appreciated. Of course, do so if you did enjoy the video. It really helps out a ton. And with that in mind, also, don't forget, if you guys want to share your own custom ideas for dinosaurs for future episodes of Custom Dinos, you can do so in the comments section below. Or, for example, if you want to be like Mikey Klepfer, who actually sent in an idea for a custom dino of his own, where, sorry, not just an idea, but specifically a custom dino of his own, and he or she sent in a Spinosaurus with the following DNA. So again, if you have an idea of the same type, you can always send that in as well, and potentially be featured on an upcoming episode. So let's see what we have here, what this dino is all about. We have no name or anything like that, so it's just a custom dino, all the way from the beginning to end. So we'll see how this looks. Whoa, okay, that's interesting color choice. Oh, never mind, there we are, and now we're back to some red. Let's see what we end up with here in the end. AGG. All right, I like that. That looks a little bit, I don't know why, it reminds me of like a hamburger or something weird like that. All right. Ooh, all right. I like this color combination. And then for the last three letters, we have tag. And there you are. You're it. Whoa. Okay, that's an interesting looking dino. I definitely do like it quite a bit. We'll see what it looks like once we actually spawn it in to the actual wild reserve kind of area. So we'll see what that looks like. Looking forward to that. But additionally to that, we have two more dinos to customize for today. And the ones that we're going to go for are going to be actually Thor and Loki. Now, from what I recall, I think that at some point we had already had an idea to do this before, and I want to clarify that we're going to go for the Thor and Loki armors from, I believe it's either the first, I'm pretty sure it's from the first movie, from the first Thor movie, I should say. So essentially it's kind of this like darkish, or I guess maybe lightish blue steel color for Thor, along with a red, of course, for the cape. And for Loki, we're going to go with kind of a darkish black and then green and gold on top of that. Now, the gold might actually be replaced with yellow. We'll see how it works. So again, keep that in mind that it's not your colors that you would see in something along the lines of the comic books, or maybe even the recent comics or the older comics. So just keep that in mind. Those are the colors that I'm going for. So what do we go for in terms of dinosaurs? Well, I really thought about this for a long time. I was like, okay, what would fit and what would work really, really well? And I think that what we'll do is for Thor, we're actually going to go with the Triceratops. And I know it's a little bit of more of an obscure choice, to be quite honest, but I feel like it fits a little bit for Thor because A, you don't want him to be huge like the Hulk, for example, but he needs to be still pretty big and menacing. And I think that the Triceratops is a relatively large, of course, dino. Plus, I feel like it kind of represents that, like, you know, super duper tough, get in and get stuff done kind of dino. And I think Thor would fit the billing, so to speak. So let's figure out what kind of a actual head we're going to use here. I got the Velociraptor. We've got the Tyrannosaurus Rex, not Triceratops. There's the Triceratops. Then the Spinosaurus, the skeleton, the Indominus Rex, and lastly, of course, the Dilophosaurus. So, if we go with the helmeted look, or unhelmeted, because of course Thor does have a helmet, and typically he would wear a helmet, we would probably choose the Dilophosaurus, but since we're going off of the movie design, for the most part, he usually does not. So I really think that this probably fits the best, either the Indominus or probably the Velociraptor, but I don't know why. I think that the Velociraptor is too, like, smooth and everything, whereas the Indominus almost looks like Thor's hair a little bit, so I think it fits a bit better there. All right. Then we go on to the torso. Now, typically Thor has those, like, circles on his torso, and he's got a cape, so we could go with something like the Stegosaurus and pretend that those, like, Stago bits in the back there are a cape. I think that, honestly, a Spinosaurus would fit better to represent a cape type look, so that could work really, really well. We could just keep a Triceratops as well, just to keep the body leaner, but I think that the Spinosaurus actually might be a pretty good choice there. Then for the tail, we got to go with, of course, the Mjolnir, and this is the thing that looks the most like a hammer. I mean, we could probably go Stago or Triceratops, but Mjolnir is a hammer, and this is kind of the most similar to it in terms of being like a double-sided weapon, so I think that works relatively well. So now we get into the coloring side of things, and this is where it's going to get tricky, because obviously we could always use some of these awesome golden and fantastic colors, but the problem with them is that whenever you use them, every color underneath is pretty much useless and you don't really get much out of it after. So it's going to be tricky here in terms of figuring out the right color. I think that this might actually be the most similar to his color, but it needs to be more metallic finish, because he usually wears, like, his armor is kind of silver, but at the same time it's got this like weird bluish sheen to it, so I almost feel like this is the right color. But I don't know, it's really, really tricky, because obviously this is probably the most appropriate with blue underneath or something, but I'm not really sure what the right color is here, honestly. And then, of course, I'm also thinking ahead about the cape and how that whole thing is going to play out. And that's definitely is adding some pressure to this whole thing. I wonder if we could go with this. And then we can't make all of this red, because that's just too much red. And that makes predominantly a red design where it should be just the cape that's red. So this doesn't really work. I'm thinking maybe if we go with like a gray. I'm kind of realizing that Thor's colors are a little bit boring for the most part. And don't get me wrong, I really like the character of Thor. But they are. And the film colors are a little bit boring. And I just wanted to stick to like one specific design, because I know that people always point out, oh my goodness, that's not what he looks like, because they are thinking of one specific Thor, one specific Loki, and so on and so forth. I'm not sure about those colors. I really am not. Now I'm kind of regretting the Spinosaurus pick. Let's see. Maybe if we use a different pattern, it could look better. Ooh, that looks pretty nice, actually. Ooh, that looks really cool. I do like that quite a bit. That looks pretty neato. What do we have here? And I know that I didn't pick anything particularly silver. I really like that. I mean, it's a lot more red than it needs to be, but I think that that actually looks really cool. And I'm just trying to think, like, we could probably go with like a lighter color here and maybe lighter on this as well, or maybe something like that. But again, it's not really the right colors. Like, I feel like it is this kind of light bluish. It might even be more like this kind of blue. It's not that. That's too bright. But it is this weird like sheen of, well, that's too blue. That's too dark. That's too vibrant. I mean, that doesn't look too bad either. I'm not going to lie. That doesn't look too bad either. But I feel like this is more fitting. So that's what we'll go with. I know it's not perfect, but obviously we can always redo it in the future, have another Thor custom. If you have any ideas for a dino that fits better for the character of Thor, let me know in the comments section below. So there's Mr. Thor and his DNA code for the dino for him. And now we got to get into Loki. Now, the other reason why I chose the Triceratops was actually thinking ahead for Loki, because I was like, okay, we need something that's going to be kind of slim, and it's not going to be particularly ginormous, or in comparison to Thor, Loki has to be a lot slimmer and not nearly as much of a physical threat as Thor. Thor is a lot more, you know, grandiose, muscular, and so on and so forth. So we needed to pick something that's a little bit smaller than him in order to match up with him still relatively well, but not be too big either. So that's why we're going with the Gallimimus. I feel like it's fitting. I feel like almost the entire sculpt of the Gallimimus is this kind of like, you know, very deceptive and very Loki-like. So I think that that will work relatively well. We're going to go with the Indominus probably, because I think that I'm pretty sure that the Indominus is going to allow him to go invisible from what I recall. So obviously that's something that if you've ever read the comics, you know that Loki, well, actually they even teased it in the movies as well, that Loki has an ability to sometimes become invisible and such. So I think that will be a pretty good choice there. Now, as far as the torso, I think we're going to keep it for the most part kind of slim. Actually, though, let me just double check, because Loki does have that helmet with the trike. So this could work as well, honestly, because Oh, this is so tricky. Do we go for, because he has that helmet with the 2 giant horns sticking up, so this kind of works, honestly, but I feel like this is more fitting for, or sorry, this is more fitting for the actual character. So it's a bit tricky here in terms of what we do, but I think we'll go with this one just because it's more fitting with the helmeted look. Now for the body, I think we're gonna go with, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we're going to go with here. I'm trying to decide because I kind of want to go with the Spinosaurus as well, just to mimic the whole idea of a cape again for him as well. And he uses a staff, like an actual weapon with like a spiky part, if you remember, on the front of it. So I think that the Dimorphodon tail should be the one that works best. I mean, we could probably cycle through the others real quick here just to see how they fit in. But I really think that this is probably the one that works best for this design. All right, so now we get into the coloring of his design, and it should be really green, gold, and black. So I think we'll go with the black as the base, just to see. Of course, we can adjust this. Then we'll go with the green on top of that. I don't know which green, though. I kind of think it's this one works better, but I think this one is a little bit more accurate. We do have this one dark. That's a little too dark. We'll go with that one for a sec, and then for the colors of the rest of the stuff, we'll go with something more gold-like. We don't really have... Well, I guess this is kind of the closest to a color of gold. Now let's change it from tiger stripes to something else for sure. We have cow print. We have the default print, which actually looks really, really nice, and I do like that quite a bit. Giraffe print actually doesn't look too bad either. Leopard print is interesting. Pixels is all right. Not so sure about polka dots or speckled for that matter. And the stars don't look all that great, as well as the tiger stripes. I think that the default looks the best of the bunch, to be quite honest there, and overall not too shabby there. Now what we could do is we could of course change it, go like we could go for maybe like a black design first. I mean, not the black undergarments, go with maybe green. But I feel like if you look at Loki's costume from like Avengers or the original film or something like that, you can see that there's a lot of black in that costume. So I think that this should work pretty well. So here's the Dino DNA there for the Loki Dino. And now it's time to actually summon the dinosaurs, isn't it? So let's travel on over to the Gyrosphere Valley and call upon our 3 dinos of the day. We have a Spinosaurus, of course, which was a custom sent in by Mikey Klepfer, I think is the name of the person. I apologize if I mispronounced that. And then on top of that, we have the other few dinos there, which are, of course, Thor and Loki, who we can actually summon. Oh, no, we can't summon. I was going to say we can summon both of them here, but then I forgot we can't summon a trike that way. All right, so let's make our way down, and we'll start, I guess, with the custom that was sent in by one of you lovely folks, which was the Spinosaurus. I think it was like the red and yellow design, right? For the most... Well, not yellow. I guess I'm not really sure what you'd call that color specifically. It's, well, you'll see it in a moment. I mean, you saw it already when we were building it, but here we go. All right, so it's kind of like a mustard, weird, like mustardy yellow. I don't even know what you explain that color. I think that's yellow, right? It's kind of like a beige yellow type color. I don't know how to explain it. But here it is, a really, really, really cool dino indeed. Gotta say that this thing is pretty fantastic. It's got the spit attack, which of course it has picked up now thanks to the Dilophosaurus head there. We have our stomp down attack still, which is pretty awesome. So you could actually... Oh, look at this. This Gallimimus wants to battle us now. Come on, Gallimimus, stay back. All right, so this thing is pretty impressive, and you did quite the good job. I mean, look at that thing. Whoa, that is quite menacing. All right, so now we're going to summon in Thor. Here he comes, along with his Mjolnir. All right, I forgot he's in medium dinos, isn't he? Custom Triceratops, it's Thor time. Again, I'll be the first one to admit it's not a perfect rendition of his armor because I think it'd be more bluish. I almost think maybe I should have thrown in a little bit of yellow somewhere because of his hair color. But at the same time, you know what? Like, I mean, this really is the colors that you would see on his armor. It is this weird, like, silver, and I know it should be more silver than gray because we used a lot of gray more so than actually silver. I 100% understand that, and I'm not gonna challenge that in any way because I feel like you'd be correct to say that. Whoa, look at this, guys. By the way, we just made it into the actual center here. I've never done this before. This is kind of weird. Hey, what's up, everyone? Mr. Triceratops is in town and ready to rock and roll. Hello. How's it going, everyone? So you can actually simulate the rampage of the dinosaurs over the park itself and run through. I love how calm everyone is. Oh, well, there's a couple people panicking, actually running out of the way. But this is, of course, the one and only Triceratops that we built. And now, what we need to do is actually assemble, or summon in, is more importantly, the Loki design that we built. Man, come on, look at that. That works so well. In terms of the two of them standing next to one another like that, it works really, really well to emulate, you know, the slippery, kind of like almost snake-like behavior of Loki. He's very lanky, and he has the horns and that spike tail, and then you've got the more trustworthy Thor right there, ready to rock and roll. Like, I think we did a really, really good job of capturing the characteristics of both characters here, and I think that we did pretty good in terms of the overall results that we pulled off. Can we jump in the water through this? I've never tried that, actually. I wonder if that's possible. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna actually let us do that, but you can try, that's for sure. And you can have, of course, the two of them battling and going at it one-on-one, and that's a pretty fun little battle thing that you can actually emulate. Oh, look at that, there we go. The two brothers, or I guess stepbrothers, fighting and going at it. There's Thor and Loki on the attack. The tail whip from Loki. And now Thor, we're coming right back with a headbutt. I wonder if Thor, why doesn't Thor use Mjolnir, right? He should totally use Mjolnir and then take care of business that way. All right, so with that in mind, guys, there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of Custom Dinos. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. We did really, really cool designs today, and we ended up with some really, really cool dinos. Let me know what dinos you would like to see on upcoming episodes. And of course, as always, guys, have an absolutely fan-flippin-tastic day. I will hopefully catch you lovely folks here next time. Peace out. See you laters. Alligators. Bye-bye, everyone. Why are you flashing? Oh, because we only have one heart. I was like, what's happening?